Hi everyone, thanks for joining us at the Full Moon Magical Market. I hope you all enjoy all of the presentations and all of the people who are going to be supplying you with information and all sorts of fun stuff for this event. So my name is Mama Sarah. I am the sole proprietor and owner of Conjured Cardea, and I thought I would do a video on the basic use of hoodoo or conjure oils, also known as condition oils. The reason I'm going to do the video on this is because that's sort of what I'm known for. I have over 500 oils available on my website, and I make over 1,000 recipes. I also do custom oils for people who want them for specific spirits or deities, or Sabbats, celebrations, even loved ones who have passed over. So I thought I would go over a bit of the basics and sort of how-tos. So I'm always surprised when people will purchase some conjure oils from me, and then they'll send me an email and they'll say, I have no idea what to do with these. So it's always surprising to me because conjure oils were one of the first things that I ever learned how to work with, and they were one of the first I would say magical items that I didn't find in nature, so a man-made item that I was really drawn to. I was so drawn to the little magical bottles and filled with curios and herbs, and it's just something I had a love with right from the beginning. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, I think people often buy oils just sort of out of curiosity or maybe on a whim, and they're not really sure what they're going to use them for. So the best thing to do is really have a plan intact. Decide whatever goal you want to work on. You can easily research spell work for that or ritual for it by researching that online or with books. I have an entire recommended reading list on my website if you're looking for basic to advanced books, beginner to advanced books, and they will help you sort of get your feet wet with finding some spells that you would like to try, and then finding the proper oil that corresponds with that type of working. So people always ask what they can do with the oils and if they're skin safe. So the first thing, that's one of the really basic things that I like to go over. All of my oils are absolutely skin safe and actually really good for your hair and your nails and your skin, unless it is otherwise noted in the listing. So it will say in the listing, please do not apply this to your skin, wash your hands after using, etc. These are oils that contain camphor, cayenne, really harsh, caustic essential oils and ingredients that would be irritating to your skin and your mucous membranes. Now, those are very few oils that I sell. That would be like Doom oil, my hot foot oil, things like that. So most oils, a great place to start with them is applying them right when you get out of the shower or after you do your skincare routine in the morning or at night, and applying them to your body. So the idea with an oil is to sort of work it into your everyday routine to where it becomes, the magic becomes part of your everyday magic and your everyday routine. So the more you can work it in, the better. Don't save them for a special occasion. I know so many people who purchase oils and they'll contact me like 2 years later and they're like, is this oil still good? No, it's not. Unfortunately, oils have a shelf life because they are made out of all natural ingredients. So they should be used within, I would say, 6 months to a year. I'm going to lean more heavily towards the 6-month mark though. After that point, your herbs are going to start to break down, and essential oils are very delicate, and that's what I comprise my oils from. And they start to break down and evaporate as well. So try adding them to your skin moisturizer, to your shampoo, to your conditioner, to your body wash, to your body lotion. That's a wonderful way to start or end your day with the magic and intent that you are wanting to focus on and bring and create in your life at that time. So start using them in your everyday routine. Maybe start researching a spell. And when I say researching a spell to do, I mean something that would be, you know, something that would be really broad based, not like, something really like specific or targeting anyone in general. Do something for like self love or abundance or prosperity or something like that. Something for the health of your family, the protection of your family, the protection of your household. So once we get to adding a few drops into your normal skincare routine, your normal bath routine, you can also add them directly to your bath as a bath oil. The next best thing to do, most people do candle work. That's sort of like the basic spell casters everyday tool. And it is definitely something I practice a lot of. So I'm going to show you how I inscribe my candles and then how I dress them and charge them. So I have a handy tool here that's called a burin. It is handmade by a store called Arts and Crafts here in my state. And this is what I use to inscribe on my candles. So as you can see, it's got a very sharp tip. You can use a sharp pencil, a sharp pen, a sharp nail. There are many things that you could use, okay? So I like to inscribe mine this way because I like to write out my intentions in full sentences. I'm not like an individual word person. I like to write it very free flowing, just as I would if I was speaking it, as if it were an incantation or something very rhythmic, almost like a song like, okay? So I just sort of let my like automatic writing take over and say my goal how I would say it from my heart. This is a place where a lot of people get hung up because they want a pre-written spell. And people are always asking me for what spell do you recommend for this and what spell do you recommend for that? Well, I don't use any pre-written spells because I write all of my own spells because I use my own words, because I use my own intention from my own heart. So I'm sure that it's something that people get very annoyed with me about, but I really don't use pre-written spells. I find that my words are much more powerful and I can state my goals much more clearly than if I was to look up a spell about a certain subject and read somebody else's words placed to that goal. So I would inscribe lengthways here, right to left, what my goals are, writing my sentence. This particular candle is for like protection and evil eye work. So, right now I think it's really important to always say at the beginning of all of your spell work that you are protected, that your household is protected, that your family and community are protected, that there is healing taking place, that everyone is safe, and that anyone who needs any type of help or recovery or repair or renewal or rejuvenation, that is happening and being imbued in them and they are being restored. So I would inscribe my candle and I would write these sentences all the way down, all the way around this entire thing until it's covered, okay? So I was looking to see if maybe I had an example done here to show you. But just sort of, you can see once I start inscribing on this, it's going to start looking like this, and this entire candle would be covered. So your next step is going to be, there are two ways. If you have a Novena candle, which are the glass encased kind back here, you can simply take your oil. Let me get the correct one here. I have a few to choose from. Let's go with All Saints oil. That's a good all-purpose evoking oil. So if you have a Novena candle, you can easily take your burin and poke holes down on the top of it, or your sharp object, whatever that may be. Poke holes down on the top of it. And you can simply drop the oil just like that right into the Novena candle, okay, to dress it, because you probably don't want to rub it all over the outside of the glass. You can, but most people probably won't do that. So what I like to do is get a good amount in my palm. I rub my hands together to raise energy. This is a very common technique and common exercise to raise energy. You'll sort of feel vibrations like static electricity. Focus on your goal, like you're almost like you're rubbing two sticks together to make a fire for that goal, right? So you're creating that electricity going, and then you can dress your candle by holding it, pressing the oil into it, top and bottom, all around, and you should be feeling some definite energy moving right now, some almost like static electricity, almost like pin pricks. Okay, so you're going to dress your candle, and then I like to use my physical body, and my hands especially are a great conduit to sort of download the images I have in my mind that I want to achieve for that spell, that goal, and just sort of flip through those almost like I want to say like an old projector film, you know, that's like going and you're seeing the flashing of the images, and then you're wanting to download that into your candle, okay? So like you're projecting those images in there. So it's like you're stacking up these images of your how you're going to build that goal. That's a very important part. How you're going to build the goal, not just seeing it, because we want to put into this candle and to our spirit guides around us that we are ready and willing to do the work, that we need the plan downloaded into us, right? So we can see maybe some small steps that we need to take. And maybe we need the rest of those steps is something that we need help with. But you need to, you will know the first few things you need to do to accomplish your goal. If it's trying to balance your finances, then you need to cut back on some spending in some areas, right? If it's balancing your relationship, that maybe there needs to be more give and take. Maybe you need to be more understanding, more patient, okay? So the first few things you need to do. And those are the steps that you want to download into this candle imagery wise, right? The rest of it will fall into place. That's part of where the magic comes in. That's part of where doing this every day or weekly comes in, okay? The steps will start to unfold in front of you naturally. So that's how I charge my candle. And when I light this candle, I make very, very clear that when I light this candle, that I am illuminating the way for my goals to find me. That once that candle is lit, that is the beacon that I am sending out. It's like a lighthouse, right? At the end of the pier that you are sending out. I am here. I am ready for help. I am ready to take these steps. I am illuminating the path for these successes and goals to find me. So make very, very clear when you light that. Lighting candles for intentions and goals is as old as time. I think people have been doing this since they probably first made the first candle or lit the first Mullen torch, that they have been doing this. I think it is symbolism that has been around since people have known that the light stands for achieving a goal and processing something, and illumination and gaining wisdom and divine energy and seeking plans from our divine sources and spirits. So that is how I charge my candles. I light them. Whether I let it burn all at once or throughout the week, depends on the candle. I sell loaded and dressed candles on my website. Those you want to burn all at once because they're going to go up in a big working flame. It's designed to be an immediate big offering. Okay, a candle like this, I would burn this each day, probably at least an hour. Pay attention to it at least an hour each day, and it would probably last me, probably a couple of weeks doing that. I have a tendency to go more than an hour, so it would probably be more like three or so. So okay, so that is just sort of a quick little exercise as to how I do that. There are a few more things we can do with oils. I'm just glancing at my list to make sure I don't forget anything for you guys. So a big thing that people love to do with oils is anointing mojo bags, charms, crystals, things like that. So the only thing I'm going to tell you to be careful of here is dressing like statues and jewelry. You can eventually ruin a statue and certain jewelry. If it's natural, like these are alligator teeth, I wouldn't want to apply oil to these. It's going to start to change them over time. And certain costume jewelry, it will affect, okay? So most costume jewelry, the oils will affect. Even your own skin oil will affect costume jewelry. That's sort of why it starts to tarnish and the colors wear away and things like that. So applying it to your statues, it can cause them to get kind of a residue and get gummy over time. I'm not going to say that I never dress my statues, because I do. I dress my hands just like I do before my candle, and I simply press it onto specific areas of the body of the statue, okay? I also keep up on dusting them weekly, so I make sure that that dust is removed from any film of oil that may be there, and sort of wipe off that residue of oil each time I cleanse them. So with my mojo bag, I do very similar to how I charged my candle. I apply it to my hands. You never pour the oil into the bag. I think there's a misconception out there that that's how you do this, and that's going to cause you to have a big oozing greasy bag of oil. So you just want to lightly dress your hands, press it, hold it, visualize, charge it with your energy. Do the same. You can do the same hand rubbing exercise to draw down energy and imbue your item. And it could be a crystal, it could be your mojo bag, it could be a gree bag, it could be a nation sack. It could be whatever. It could be any charm that you hold dear to you. So that is another easy way to dress and feed your mojo bags. So when we say feed, we want to do this weekly because we want to imbue it with our energy weekly. Your mojo bag will die if you don't pay attention to it. If you simply make it and you set it aside and you don't look at it for a month or 6 months or a year, you have to have some reciprocity with your mojo bag. You need to treat it as a living being, because that is what we believe this is in root work. This is a housing for the ashe that is contained by the curios inside. This is often sometimes believed to have spirits blessing it, or spirits attached to it. So if you're not paying attention to it and not feeding it, those, it's sort of like when you stop remembering somebody, and it's like, think of what a sad thing that is, to stop remembering somebody and stop talking about them, stop paying attention to them, stop telling stories about them. It's similar to that, right? There's not a real person there. You don't see them anymore, but the energy is still there, and you want to pay attention to it, and you want to give honor to it, right? Because that's what mojuba means. A mojo means to give praise. So this is an item we would use as an offering to sort of be a beacon to attract our goals to us in honor and praise. We make these, okay? So the next couple of quick tips is a fun one. I have a fun oil here for this. I can't really demonstrate it for you. This is my St. Louis #1. So this is great for communing with ancestors and divination. So a good thing to do with oils that I think a lot of people miss out on is oil scrying. So you can get a shallow bowl of water, and you simply unscrew the lid, drop a pattern of oil in there, perhaps ask your question or maybe evoke a spirit that you would like help from. Maybe it's an ancestor that you're seeking some guidance from. And then simply center yourself, focus your energy, and gaze into the water and read these symbols in the water. Now, a great guide for this is something like looking up a palmistry guide, or I'm sorry, not a palmistry guide, a tea leaf reading guide, okay? So they'll give you sort of pictorial representations of what the symbols are going to mean, okay? So you'll see a picture of, you know, a bird or maybe an arrow or an anchor or a sun, and a tea leaf reading guide will help you distinguish what each of those symbols means and how to apply it to your question, or maybe, you know, apply it to if you were just looking for sort of divining the future a little bit, just to sort of see what comes up for you. So that's a great one that people really miss out with my oils. So definitely try the oil scrying, okay? And the last one, the last little tip is I'm a big incense maker. That's like one of my specialties is making incense. So I use all natural resin blends that you burn on charcoal. I'm really old school style that way. So that's the way incense has been burned for tens of thousands of years, maybe longer. And there are instructional guides online if you are not familiar with how to use charcoal, incense charcoal, okay? So one of the great things you can do with your oils is add them to your loose incense blends, your resin incense blends, or drop them directly onto the charcoal themselves to release them in sort of an incense and smoke form. So that's another fun way that people really miss out on using my oils. So really, the possibilities are endless. It is however you can think of to work them into your life. Sometimes I put them in with my dish soap when I'm washing my dishes. I put them in with my mop water when I'm going to mop my house. There is just there's a million and one uses. Just don't let them sit on the shelf. They work when you use them, right? They aren't magic pills. They're not going to do anything just sitting there by themselves. It is a tool that has to be utilized. So make sure you're taking the time to really learn the benefits of these little beauties, because it is a versatile tool and you can apply it to so many different applications in your spirituality. And I think it's really going to boost your workings and your focus and your intent. So I hope that's helped you guys a little bit with what conjure oils are and how to use them. And I thank you all for joining this event. Thanks so much for watching, stopping by the website. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook as well under Conjured Cardea. And I hope you are all well, safe, blessed, and peace be with you all. Bye.